Hello everyone, welcome to Enlightened Study Point. आज আমি ক্লাছ 10 social science geography পাৰ্টৰ chapter 1 economic geography subject matter and resources সেই চেপ্টাৰৰ বাকি question number 8 ৰ পৰা 15 লৈকে লৈ আনিছো। তো ভিডিওটো ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰাৰ আগতে মই সকলোকে ক'ব বিচাৰিছো যে মোৰ চেনেলটো সাবস্ক্ৰাইব কৰি দিব। তো question number 8 briefly discuss about the necessity of resources with example. The uses of resources and their abilities are inextricably linked to the advancement of human civilization. Human welfare and socio-economic growth have resulted from resources exploitation. The resources received from nature are exploited by man who employs his or her own energy, knowledge, wisdom and talent. Apart from meeting man's basic necessity of food, housing and clothes, as well as many other requirements, the ability of these resources have allowed for an improvement in man's living condition. Following are some of the necessities of resources. Resources when used as a raw material satisfy the needs and comforts of human being. They also provide employment opportunities. 3. Natural resources are a source of agricultural activity which adds to the economic importance. Question number 9. Write in brief about the relationship between resources and man. Man is associated with resources in two different ways, as producer of resources and as consumer of resources. Although many of the resources useful to man are made available from the nature, most of them are transformed as per requirement into more consumable form by man. Moreover, the attributes of functionality and utility of the material found in nature can be explored only through human knowledge. With the expansion of the horizon of human knowledge, many new resources are also created and used. It means, apart from the resources derived from nature, many of the resources from example technology, houses, roads, industry, school, offices, agro farm, equipments, vehicle, etc. are produced by men themselves. Question number 10. Briefly discuss about the relationship between resources and science technology. There is a good relationship between resources and science and technology. All the natural resources used to men cannot be used directly from the nature. With the help of science and technology, man can transform various neutral stuff to resources. Generally, all the resources are found as a result of the interaction among the nature, man and culture, including science and technology. The variation in the use of natural and man-made resources is dependent on the change in human demand and development of new technology. With the expansion of human knowledges and development of science and technology, many such neutral steps and resistance found on the earth are getting transformed into resources through human effort. Science and technology also help us to give appropriate shape of resources as a requirement of man. Write about classification of resources with example. The classification of resources can be explained on the basis of abiotic resources. Number 1 point, abiotic refers to non-living things that exist apart from living things. Land, water, air and minerals such as gold, iron, silver and copper are example of abiotic resources. Biotic resources are those resources that are obtained from the biosphere. Forests, wildlife, human fisheries and livestock among other things provide these resources. These resources can only be accessed by living things. Renewable resources. Point, a natural resources that can be replenished to replace the portion used by usage and consumption is known as a renewable resources, also known as a flow resources. This replenishment can occur naturally through reproduction or through other requiring process is a in a limited amount of time on a human time scale. These are referred to be permanent resources when the rate of resources recovered is unlikely to ever exceed a human time scale. Non-renewable resources. Second point, a natural resources that cannot be easily replaced by nature means quickly enough to keep up with us is referred to as a non-renewable resources. 2 point, fossil fuels made of carbon are one instance. 3 with the use of heat and pressure, the original biological substances transform into fuel like gas or oil. Final point, non-renewable resources include earth, mineral and metals or fossil fuels and groundwater in specific aquifers. What is meant by natural resources? Write briefly with example. Natural resources are material from the earth that are used to support life and meet people's need. Any natural substances that humans use can be considered as a natural resources. The resources, for example, sunshine, air, water, soil, plant, animal, minerals, river, etc., which after natural formation remain distributed on the earth are known as natural resources. The natural resources are found in solid, liquid and gaseous state and in metallic or non-metallic form. Many of such natural resources are used as raw material in different industries. Besides coal, minerals, oil, natural gas, etc. are also natural resources which are used by us as source of energy. What are man-made resources? Write in briefly about its uses with example. Many materials having collected from the nature are converted into more usable forms as per requirement by applying different technology. For example, paper from bamboo, clothes from cotton, different types of dyes, paint, synthetic clothes, chemical fertilizer, insecticides, soap, plastic, synthetic rubber, wax, etc. Different types of food item, medicine, wood, houses, construction materials, etc. are derived from plants. Such materials are produced through human effort are known as man-made resources. What are the difference between renewable and non-renewable resources? Discuss briefly with example. The difference between renewable and non-renewable are renewable resources. At number, renewable resources cannot be depleted over time. Renewable resources including sunlight, water, wind and also geothermal sources such as hot spring and fumaroles. These emit low carbon and thus have a low carbon footprint. Non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources deplete over time. Non-renewable resources included fossil fuels such as coal and petroleum. 3 নম্বর কি this emits comparatively higher carbon and thus have a higher carbon footprint. Question number 15. What is mean by conservation of resources? What is necessary? Resources conservations are important aspect of the environment as not all wood present in abundant quantities. Overuse of resources will deplete its amount which will lead to many issues hampering our natural life. Conservation of resources is the process of preservation and judicious use of resources to achieve maximum utility, avoid wasteful consumption and misuse. Conservation of mineral oil means the act of exploitation of mineral oil from the natural without any wastage and its proper use for long time towards human welfare. Although resources conservation is more associated with non-renewable resources, actually the concept of conservation are applicable to all the resources. It is the need of the hour because human needs are unlimited whereas the resources are scarce. Therefore, we need to preserve the resources for future generations. In view of rapid increase of world population are growing environmental problem including depletion of many natural resources, efforts are being made worldwide at various levels for environmental protection and conservation of natural resources. বাকি কোৱেশ্চনছবোৰ নেক্সট ভিডিঅ'লৈ আনিম। ধন্যবাদ।